Happy New Year!
Hi.
It's the end of the year, which means we saw a handful of movies this year.
At least one.
At least one. Well, at least 5. At least 10, because we're doing top 5, bottom 5 today.
Mm-hmm.
This year we have seen a lot of movies as far as we go. Like, I've been seen 30 movies in theaters.
I've seen 20.
That's a lot for us.
That's a lot for me.
We did pretty good this year. I mean, 20 at the movies is more than I did last year on my own, so like total. So we're doing our top 5, bottom 5.
Okay.
Your number 5 worst. Number 5 worst.
My 5 worst, and I hate to say it, we're starting with Inside Out 2. That's a little controversial, I think.
I don't think so. I think the movie wasn't very good.
And I gave it 2.5 stars, so 5 out of 10. I was a little underwhelmed. I was extremely excited to see it. We saw it opening day, and I was underwhelmed. I was very sad.
All right, my number, and I feel bad about my number 5 worst because it was one of the screeners I got, and like it's a low budget movie. It's indie. They're just trying to get some kind of attention on them. And it wasn't very good. It was John Travolta's Cash Out, which wasn't like a horrible movie, but I just saw a lot of really good stuff this year.
Number 4 worst was Lisa Frankenstein. Again, a movie I was super excited to see, but super underwhelmed. And I actually remember I was very emotional that day. I cried because I was so disappointed. I really wanted to like it. I was so excited for it, and I didn't care for it.
Lisa Frankenstein was the last movie I would consider okay. Everything on my list under Lisa Frankenstein I thought was a bad movie. That was the last line of defense.
Yeah. Mine too.
Yeah. My number 4 worst, and I think I saw it on your list, is Blink Twice. I went into this movie with such high hopes, and it was such a wannabe Shutter Island kind of thing, but also kind of like hip and cool, and it was so obnoxious.
Yeah.
And it ruined Spider-Man 3 for me.
Why?
Anyway.
So my number 3 worst is also Blink Twice. I hated it. It was so boring.
Yeah, it was.
I gave it 1.5 stars.
What did I give it? Yeah, I also gave it 1.5. Alright. My number 3 worst. I want to get this on Blu-ray. I wanted to get the Steelbook, and I want to force you to watch it. Madam Web.
No.
It's honestly, like, as far as enjoyment goes, I usually rank movies that I enjoyed higher than a movie that I may think is objectively better if the enjoyment is good enough. And I thoroughly enjoy Madam Web, but it is just that bad. Like, even though I was bored out of my mind with Blink Twice, it was still technically a better experience because at least there was some competency in Blink Twice. Not Madam Web.
My number 2 worst was Mean Girls, the musical.
It really surprises me.
That really, really hurts me because I was a big fan of the Broadway show. But then they made the worst casting choice for Katie Heron. She couldn't sing. What was up with that? Renee Rapp, amazing. Love her.
Very lovely woman. Not as pretty as you, though.
So sorry, Renee Rapp, but the movie flopped. I gave it 1 star.
Yeah, it flops because of your 1 star.
Yeah.
People saw your rating and were like, you know what, we shouldn't go.
We shouldn't.
Not because they didn't advertise it as a musical, and then people were thrown off. That wasn't it.
I knew it was a musical.
Yeah, you knew. Most people didn't. My number 2 worst, Cult Killer. This was another movie I got as a screener, and I had to stop watching it, take a break, have a drink, force myself to finish it, and I emailed the person that sent me the screener at one point. I was like, hey, listen, I cannot make a review post you're going to be happy with. I gotta be honest with this. I thought it was unwatchable. But at the very least, I'll just make like a promo thing. If that's okay with you, I'll just say this movie exists. And she was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, thank you, because I don't want to like burn this bridge.
The worst movie I saw this year was Immaculate.
I'm going to hop in there. It's also my number 1 worst movie.
Yeah. I'm not entirely on board with unaliving babies.
Yeah, I think some would call that a fourth trimester abortion.
For sure.
Um,
That was a hard watch. Could have thrown up.
it was just like I get some movies like, hey, the point is, it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's you go in knowing it's going to be graphic, but I thought the movie was so intensely offensive to not just filmmaking and the horror genre by being bad at it, but it was making commentary on something it didn't understand, trying to make a rape allegory of the Immaculate Conception. I personally did not enjoy, but also from the entire marketing campaign, where they're like intentionally like reading Bible verses out of context just to get a reaction. I was like, yeah, I not a fan. There are some things I really respect about Sydney Sweeney. This is not one of them.
Yeah, she did not make a very convincing nun.
No.
And she seemed so bland in the movie.
Yeah, and she's
a pretty okay actress.
Yeah.
I don't want to
she's
say
a
okay.
she's a decent actress. As there were even moments in Anyone But You where it's like, hey, she's doing like actually a solid job in just a cheesy romantic comedy.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a good one.
Anyone But You was a good one.
That was a good one. This one, I just want to go in here with like an honorable mention.
Oh yeah.
Because one of the first movies I saw this year was American Fiction, and I loved it. I thought it was a great time. I personally connected with it, and it was at the top of my list forever. But there was always like one movie popped up that just knocked it down one spot in the ranking until it was just out after we saw The Wild Robot. No, spoiler for later. We'll get there. But yeah, it's American Fiction is a fantastic movie. Great little dramatic comedy. Highly recommend it. That's my honorable mention.
My honorable mention is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Which is surprising because you haven't seen any X-Men movies.
No. None. But it was fun.
Super fun movie.
It was a really fun movie. It was funny. And I really thought Taylor Swift was in it.
Me too.
She wasn't. My number 5 is Beetlejuice. I only gave Beetlejuice 4 stars.
Only 4 stars.
Only 4 stars. I thought my top 5 was all 5 stars, but Beetlejuice is 4 stars. And I really enjoyed it. Andrew didn't really enjoy it. A lot of people didn't really enjoy it, but I thought it was a lot of fun. And I think I cried.
When the shrunken head guy died?
No, maybe that was another movie in my top 5. No, I'm pretty sure I cried.
I know one movie you cried to a lot. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
My number 5 is Strange Darling. I went in, I had like a day off of work, had no idea what this movie was, I hadn't seen any trailer, and I absolutely loved it. I was thrown off a lot in the beginning, but it was one of the best movies, the best movie theater experience that I had this year because nobody was in the theater. I had it all to myself, and it's just a wild movie that I think everybody needs to see, but do not watch a trailer for it. You have to go in unprepared.
Strange Darling?
Yeah.
Who was in that one?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Really indie movie.
Alright. My number 4 was Wicked. I really enjoyed Wicked, and honestly, I really battled hard with where Wicked was going to go in my ranking. But Wicked was everything I wanted and more. I loved the musical, and I was genuinely shocked at how much not only I loved it, but how much he liked it.
I really liked it until it was overdone. Within a week. I hated
he's
it.
just mad because I listened to it.
Not because you listened to it. Not because you.
There has not been a day that has gone by since we've seen it over a month ago where I have not sung something about the Ozdas Ballroom.
I'm gonna bring a box. Alright. My number 4 was Fly Me to the Moon. Another surprise.
Yeah.
It looked like a fun, like, day-night kind of movie, just like a good wasted 2 hours or whatever, but it surprised both of us, I think.
Yeah, For sure.
I thought Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson had wonderful chemistry together. It was a great blend of romantic comedy and, cool drama. Like, I was never into that part of history, but I had a fun time learning about all this stuff. And as a public affairs guy, that really struck a chord with me. That got me completely invested.
Yeah, and the whole way home, we were like, oh my gosh, look at the moon. Look at the moon.
I mean, the moment of when they did land on the moon, I was filled with so much patriotism. I wanted to stand up and salute the screen. It was so well done.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. I enjoyed that one too. But it's not in my top 5, so we can stop talking about it. My number 3 was Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I love Ghostbusters so much. And that's the one that... That's the movie I was talking about where I was crying because I was so overcome with just like, I love Ghostbusters so much. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, and that held the number 1 spot pretty much all year.
Yeah.
Until, you'll see.
Honestly, I'm so glad you love the movie, because Ghostbusters is one of those movies I showed to her when we first started dating, where it's like, hey, you've seen no movies ever, this one will change your life, and it did. And I'm so happy about that.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. My number 3 was Thelma. I was hit with a lot of surprises this year. I think I had the night to myself or something. You were hanging out with friends. I needed something to do, and I saw it was playing. I did watch the trailer this time, and I thought, oh, that looks silly. Just an old lady on a revenge quest after getting scammed over the phone.
That one.
And it's so heartwarming. It's not an action movie. Like, the trailers make it look like an old lady action movie. It's not, but it's edited like one, which is what really sells the comedy, where just walking up the stairs quietly becomes this intense, thrilling moment on par with like anything in John Wick. Maybe not anything, but it's such a good movie. I highly recommend it. I think I gave it 4 stars.
Number 2.
I think we could talk about this one together.
Is it your number 2?
It's my number 2.
Alright, our number 2s are the same, and that is The Wild Robot.
The Wild Robot. I never buy movies like day one, but The Wild Robot we had to get. We gotta watch it again.
Yeah.
We both cried a lot
the
whole time.
It was shocking, like, how emotional it was. But, like, we both cried.
I can't wait to be a mom.
It was hard. I was, like, silently sobbing in the theater.
You were not silent at all.
Just wait till we get to my number 1.
Oh, yeah.
I'll send you the Snapchat videos and you can put them over.
Okay.
Just like, I just love.
So what is your number 1?
My number 1 was Here.
I just saw the most beautiful movie I've ever seen in my life.
What?
With Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. I'm gonna cry talking about it. Forrest Gump, my favorite movie of all time. So obviously I had to go see Forrest and Jenny in a new movie. And I said it was Forrest Gump 2. Obviously it's not. Don't come for me. I genuinely loved this movie so much. Hold a very special place in my heart. This movie, when we saw The Wild Robot, I said I don't remember the last movie that made me cry so much. And then I saw Here. And this was like a 3-week difference, right? Like,
yeah.
It was like a 3-week span, Wild Robot, and then we saw Here. And Here made me cry like a baby. Not even...
It's kind of funny.
Like, not even just during the movie. I cried the whole way home.
She did.
That was rough.
It was good.
I loved it. It's my favorite movie of the year, and I stand by that. 5 stars. I don't care what you have to say, film bro.
Yeah, the movie did not get a good reception, but I
don't understand.
I liked it. I thought it was really good. The friend we went with liked it. He thought it was really good. Like, the people we've talked to have all really liked it, but the general consensus, it's wrong. It's just nerds hating for no reason.
I mean, but that's how I feel about Nosferatu. Like, people are praising Nosferatu, and I'm like, I don't get it. But that's probably how people felt about Here. Like, I don't get it. That's true. You just don't. You wouldn't get it.
Maybe.
You just don't get it.
Well, life circumstances for us are also making it hit harder.
You just don't understand Tom Hanks like I do. What's your number one, Andrew?
My number one is Dune Part 2.
Of course it is.
I am surprised I've only watched it in theaters once. I only just got I didn't even include that in my update video. I totally forgot I got Dune Part 2 on Steelbook.
Yes, you did.
Wow, I'm a fake fan.
You are.
No, it's better than the first one. I'm a huge Dune fan. I think this is what people have been waiting for since the 50s when the book first came out. It's almost flawless. It's so pretty. I want you to watch it.
I'm not gonna watch it.
I want you to.
I'm not going to.
I don't have to say anything about Dune. We all know how perfect it was. It's my number one of the year.
Anyway.
Thank you for joining us. Let us know what your top 5 were, if you agree or disagree, or if you disagree so vehemently that you feel the need to bully one of us. Go for that too. Just
Actually, don't.
well, not about her stuff. You can come at me with my picks. She will cry.
I also want to know what your bottom 5 were for the year.